Okay, so this movie that I'm about to talk about right now, I've been wanting to see it for a while because a lot of people have really, really liked it. And I'm interested in small horror movies that a lot of people seem to really like. So, this movie is called The Taking of Deborah Logan, and it's a found footage documentary esque style movie. Um, I am. I'm not gonna say I hate found footage because I generally don't. I don't hate found footage. I just think found footage is a little overrated, but I don't hate it. I'm not somebody that's like, I definitely hate found footage. I hate what it's doing. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. But if you do it correctly, that is, I won't hate it. However, if you're like, oh, there was like a Slender Man movie or something. Not the one from last year. I mean the one from, I don't know, I think it was like from a couple years ago. Something like that. There's a Slender Man movie. I think it's called Slender. And it's a found footage movie. And that movie was shit. And that shows you that sometimes the found footage like angle of making a movie will not work. But if you don't have a budget though and you really want to make a movie, then found footage is probably one of the best ways to go. So I would say do that. However, this movie is like a documentary, and it's about these. I think I want to say they're like this film student thing where they're documenting somebody with Alzheimer's, and they pick this house that what's the character's name? Sarah, I think, is the name of the daughter of Deborah Logan, who is the subject of the film. And right off the bat, like she's showing like signs of Alzheimer's, and it can be weird because I know a few people with Alzheimer's, like in my family. So I definitely have experiences with Alzheimer's. And I'm going to say the Alzheimer's aspect of this movie, that is generally accurate, honestly. It kind of is. Um, but of course, it's a horror movie, so something's going to go wrong, and it does. And what it turns out is, spoiler alert, Deborah Logan is possessed by a child murdering spirit. And honestly, it's a pretty dang entertaining movie. Like, it's a pretty good movie. It's not body melt. It's not like that, but it's for what it is. It's a pretty good movie, and it is entertaining, and there are a few scares in there. There, however, are like way too many jump scares in this movie to the point where I was feeling like this is annoying. Please stop. Okay, can we? Why can't you be like Hereditary, where you don't need the jump scares in order to be scary? But other than that, I feel like this movie was pretty. It was pretty cool, and it was a pretty cool spin on the whole like possession story. Um, there there were points where I was starting to zone out, and this is a movie that I was like, this did not need to be 90 minutes. And this is not, yeah, the movie's about Alzheimer's, but there were times where it started turning into like an educational film where I was like, yeah, that did not need to happen. Also, this movie has flaws. I'm gonna talk about those right now. One of the biggest flaws I have with this movie was the main character. So this main character named Mia is so negligent on the fact that there is obviously something wrong happening to this lady, and her co-workers are right because her camera crew, they keep capturing weird ass shit that no one could possibly explain if they saw that as raw footage. And she's just like, oh, that was the breeze. Oh, she must have got a chair. Literally, that's what she says. Like, okay, so there's a moment where one of the guys in a room and Deborah's there, and the window to the room just slams open. Like, it just opens, like somebody forcefully opens it. And of course, there's no one there, and he panics. And when they show her the footage, when they show the character of Mia the footage, then she's like, well, that has to be a breeze. That's just a breeze. The breeze must have done that. And I'm just sitting there like, bitch, the breeze, okay? What kind of breeze? You talking about like a tornado? Like, it just, that was a little annoying. And I was definitely siding with the guy who was like, no, fuck you. Like, fuck you. I'm leaving. I don't care about the pay anymore. I don't want to be here. I sided with that guy. I was like, that was the right decision. Honestly, that was the correct decision. And you know what? Like I said, there were generally scary scenes. Like, for instance, there is a scene where Deborah is in a hospital and she kidnaps a little girl, and honestly, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was part of the whole like demonic possession thing, but I've heard of scary things people with Alzheimer's will do, like entering into other people's houses or kidnapping kids who think that they're their children and stuff like that. It can be scary, and knowing that, it made this scene even more intense as they're searching this entire hospital looking for this little girl. Of course, they find her and like bring her back to where her parents, but she gets kidnapped the second time. And the ending of this movie, I honestly felt was sweet. For a little bit. We'll get into the little bit, but for the moment, I did like the whole metaphor, like Alzheimer's could be like a possession. Like, the people who usually suffer from Alzheimer's, it's not their body anymore. Their body now belongs to this disease, and it can be like a demonic possession. So I like the whole metaphor there for Alzheimer's, and how like it concludes like when they get rid of the demon and Deborah is back to being her normal self before that thing entered her. I thought that was pretty sweet. But then that sweetness is interrupted by, oh, she's going to court for kidnapping this child, which I'm like, you know what, that is a little realistic. And of course, they let her off of mental illness, which is realistic. But then they do this, like, the last 5 minutes are dedicated to building up the character of this girl, the girl she kidnapped. And, oh no, the demon spirit wasn't banished to hell. No, instead, it went into this girl. Oh no. Honestly, I stopped caring at that point. I was like, what happened to Deborah? Like, I like that story more. I don't give a shit about this girl. I don't know her. So I don't feel bad if she's possessed or not, because I don't know who she is. But like I said, it's not a perfect movie. There are flaws, but it was generally entertaining, and relatively, it was a breath of fresh air for for these found footage-esque movies. But I'll also say this. There are times where I was questioning the authenticity of how this could be a found footage thing, because the whole thing was supposed to be a documentary on Alzheimer's. It just seemed like these kids just left these creepy things in the documentary. And I just was like, no one's gonna do that. Who the hell is gonna do that? And everyone's gonna believe it. I'm just saying. So, but I mean, besides that, it was good. It was relatively good. I didn't regret it. Honestly, if you are one of the few people who actually likes found footage movies, you'll like this. You'll definitely like this. It's cool, but compared to better found footage movies like the Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity 1, or Cloverfield, compared to movies like that, this one isn't as great as those three, but it's not as bad as Slender or Paranormal Activity 6 or any of those. It's not as bad as those. The movie was entertaining. It was generally entertaining. I didn't regret watching it, and you know, if you guys are fans of this subgenre movie, then I would highly recommend watching this movie. But that's all I have to say for the Taking of Deborah Logan. I would recommend it, but I'm glad I saw it the once. I don't know if I'll watch it ever again. Who knows? Anyway, oh god, there's only one more movie for tonight. One more movie to talk about tonight, and then I can start talking about, like, I can start recording the other Fright Nights videos. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with a new video. Alright, goodbye.